a voice that shook America. From small Chicago churches to dazzling dance floors, Sam Cooke, the king of soul, stood at the top with "You Send Me" and "A Change Is Gonna Come." But in 1964, he fell in a rundown Los Angeles motel, wearing only a coat, a bullet through his heart. The official report called it justifiable homicide, but his battered body told a different story. Who wanted Sam silenced? Was it his manager, Alan Klein, who controlled his music fortune, the Los Angeles police, who closed the case in days, or the white music industry, never seeking justice for a black star? 6 decades later, the case remains unexamined. Join me as we step into Sam's world, gritty streets, smoky studios, and whispers of a conspiracy. What's the truth, and who snuffed out that voice forever? Chapter 1: A poor boy torn between faith and ambition. In a small church in Chicago's struggling Bronzeville neighborhood, folks clapped for a boy who sang like an angel, but no one noticed the stranger standing quietly at the back door. It was 1937, and that 6-year-old boy was Sam Cooke. His clear tenor ringing through dusty streets, the 5th of 8 children in Reverend Charles Cooke Sr.'s family. Sam grew up in a cramped apartment where the smell of his mother Annie Mae's cornbread mixed with the sound of prayers. The Great Depression left the family scraping by on preaching money and community help. Sam, with his bright smile, sold newspapers and shined shoes, but he was sharper than that. He organized neighborhood kids to sing gospel for tips, like a pint-sized producer. One night after a church performance, Sam came home to find a folded note at the door. No words, just a musical note slashed through. He tucked it in his pocket. Later, in sleepless nights, he'd sneak a look at that slashed note, as if someone wanted to cut his dreams short from the start. From that day, Sam kept glancing over his shoulder. In the dim yellow glow of Bronzeville's streets, he saw nameless shadows. One night, he heard footsteps matching his heartbeat, then a bar door swung open, despite his father's warnings. Sam slipped into smoky bars filled with curious eyes. It wasn't just curiosity. Something in the cold stare of that man at the church door made him wonder, who's listening to me sing and why one night? Someone handed him a cigarette and said, "Your voice is worth a fortune, but don't let the wrong people hear it." Sam laughed, but the words echoed like a broken record. Don't let the wrong people hear it. Don't let the wrong people hear it. At 14, Sam joined the Highway QCs, performing in packed churches. Young women in the crowd cheered, tossing handkerchiefs, making Sam blush but proud. He bonded with Lou Rawls, the two competing in good spirit. But amid those soaring notes, Sam carried a worry. One evening, staring into the dark street, he whispered, almost to himself, "I know I'm going to be famous, but I'm not sure I'll live long enough to enjoy it." The streetlight flickered. Those words, like a curse, never left him. What did Sam see in the crowd's eyes? Was there already someone, amid the applause, plotting to silence that voice forever? Chapter 2: A music icon who couldn't escape prejudice. In 1957, in a smoky RCA studio, when Sam Cooke finished "You Send Me," some clapped and some didn't. Not because they didn't like it, but because they knew if this song succeeded, everything would change. Sam's smooth tenor left the engineers breathless, and the track, meant as a B-side, shot to #1 on both pop and R&B charts, selling over 1.5 million copies. That was the moment Sam became the king of soul. With 30 top 40 hits from 1957 to 1964, Chain Gang echoed the clank of irons. Twistin' the Night Away set dance floors ablaze, and "A Change Is Gonna Come" became a civil rights anthem that stirred hearts. But Sam didn't just sing. In 1961, he founded SR Records, signing Bobby Womack and Johnny Taylor. He started CAGS Music to control his publishing rights, a bold move in a white-dominated industry. The music world whispered, a black artist owning his rights, a gospel singer negotiating stock deals. His 1960 RCA contract brought $100,000 in preferred stock. making producers eye Sam with both admiration and unease. His 1963 album Night Beat, with its deep blues, and 1964's Ain't That Good News, praised for its finesse, proved he wasn't just a singer, he was a game changer. Sam challenged the status quo outside the studio too. In 1960, he refused to perform in segregated Memphis, standing before crowds with his natural afro, a statement of black pride. A week later, SAR Records' office was broken into. Nothing was taken except a reel of a new song. Sam didn't call the police, he knew they wouldn't care, but the break-in chilled him. From a Louisiana hotel balcony in 1963, where he was arrested for trying to check into a whites-only hotel, Sam looked down at the street. He suddenly remembered the eyes of that man at the church door years ago. The feeling of being watched was back, and closer now. Sam sought answers in James Baldwin's books, but the pages didn't ease his fears. The white music industry didn't want a black star too independent. He received threats from the KKK, and cold stares from producers in boardrooms unsettled him. A studio worker recalled Sam whispering, "They don't want me getting too big." Who were they, producers? Rivals, or larger forces wanting to keep Sam in check? Sam once asked. Who are they but in that music world? Some questions went unanswered, silenced by quiet. Did Sam's independence make him a target for those determined to extinguish his flame at any cost? Chapter 3. Craving love but drowning it. The wedding day in Chicago was filled with laughter, but some in the church said when Sam Cooke took his vows. Barbara Campbell's eyes didn't blink as if she was calculating. It was 1958, and Sam, with his radiant smile, held Barbara's hand in a small church, promising forever. His father, Reverend Charles Cooke Sr., officiated, sunlight streaming through the windows like a blessing. They had 3 children, Linda, Tracy, and Vincent, proof of their love. But happiness was fragile as a missed note. In 1963, 18-month-old Vincent drowned in the family pool, steps from the living room. No one knew why the pool cover was open that day. Sam came home after the police left, with only Barbara's sobs echoing. Sam didn't just battle the loss of his son. He had at least 3 children out of wedlock, including a settlement with Connie Bowling in 1958 for $5,000. His wandering eye, as his friend Bumps Blackwell put it, skipped the good girl for the flashy one, cracked his marriage. Barbara, heartbroken, was rumored to have been involved with a bartender at Sam's funeral. That bartender bowed his head, wearing Sam's watch and wedding ring. No one dared ask, and Barbara only glanced before turning away. After Vincent's death, Alan Klein, the manager controlling Sam's music fortune through Tracy Limited, appeared more often, not for music, but for money. Sam longed for family love, but fame and temptation left him isolated. He partied often, drinking to dull the pain, but those empty eyes still followed him. One quiet night, Sam sat with Barbara, the faint glow of a lamp on his face. He asked, "If I lost everything, would you still stay?" Barbara smiled, but that smile held no answer. The question hung there, like an unfinished note. Was Barbara tired of forgiving, was she? With Klein's help, planning a future without Sam. Those cracks in their marriage weren't just personal. They might have paved the way for a larger conspiracy looming ahead. Did those cracks in Sam's marriage open the door to a bigger plot from those closest to him? Chapter 4. The Fateful Night Mystery at the Hacienda. On the night of December 10th, 1964, at Martoni's Bar in Hollywood, Sam Cooke set down his 4th martini and looked around. A figure in a gray coat slipped around the corner. "I feel like someone's watching me," he muttered. No one answered. A wad of thousands of dollars peeked from his pocket, catching eyes in the dim light. Sam laughed, buying rounds for friends. But his eyes flickered with worry. He met Elisa Boyer, a 22-year-old introduced by a guitarist. They left at 1 in the morning, stopped at PJ's nightclub, then drove Sam's red Ferrari to the Hacienda Motel, where he checked in under his real name. 1:30 in the morning, Sam and Elisa entered a Hacienda room, a seedy place with stale cigarette smoke and flickering neon. No one knows what they said. But tension rose. 1:50 in the morning, Elisa, by her account, panicked, grabbed Sam's clothes and money and fled. She banged on the manager's door, but Bertha Franklin didn't answer. Elisa hid at a nearby phone booth, calling police, claiming she was kidnapped. 2 in the morning, Sam, in just a coat and one shoe, pounded on Franklin's office door, shouting, "Where's the girl Franklin? 55 with arthritis." Claimed Sam barged in and grabbed her. She fired 3 shots in self-defense. 2:02 in the morning, 3 shots rang out or didn't, since no guest at the crime-ridden hacienda heard anything. Sam, a bullet through his heart, gasped, "Lady, you shot me," before collapsing on the cold floor. Etta James visited the morgue. But that body wasn't the Sam Cooke she knew. Hands crushed, nose broken, head nearly severed. No one spoke. No one explained. Those injuries couldn't have come from a woman like Franklin with a broom. Police arrived, asked a few questions, and skipped a detailed autopsy. Then, the file closed. Justifiable homicide. The case was shut so fast it stunned Sam's friends. No thorough search of the hacienda. No follow-up on Alyssa Boyer, later arrested for prostitution. No report explained why Sam's body looked brutally beaten. A Martoni's witness said the gray-coated figure Sam saw never reappeared. Who was it? A stalker? Or a trick of Sam's drunken mind? The hacienda, with its dark rooms and secrets, seemed to hold the answers tight. Was Sam lured into a trap at the hacienda? Or did his voice ring too far, making someone in the music industry want it silenced forever? Chapter 5. Conspiracy and suspicion. Who was behind the death? Crushed hands. A nearly severed head. Yet the report said justifiable. When Etta James saw Sam Cooke's body in the morgue, she couldn't believe her eyes. The horrific wounds, broken nose. Mangled hands couldn't be from one bullet and a broom by Bertha Franklin, a 55-year-old woman with arthritis. No one could do that alone, Etta whispered, her voice trembling. But no one listened. No one explained. The police report coldly concluded justifiable homicide. Sam's family was stunned. His sister, Agnes Cooke Hoskins, screamed that Sam would never stay at a $3 a night dump like the hacienda. Someone lured him there, she said. Eyes red. Friends like Lou Rawls and Bobby Womack felt the truth was buried, but buried by whom the clues pointed to a darker world of money, power, and eerie silence. Let's rewind. Before Sam's body lay cold in the morgue, there were odd signs. Alan Klein, the manager controlling Tracy Limited, which owned Sam's recordings, stood out. Sam's death left Klein with full control of SR Records, no one to challenge him. Without Sam, no risk of splitting the profits. Klein, with a history of royalty disputes, had worried Sam. A friend recalled Sam arguing with Klein about money months earlier, his voice shaking. "They want to take everything from me." Did Klein have a motive to remove Sam, securing his financial power? The Los Angeles police, accused of racism in the 1960s, were another piece. They arrived at the hacienda, asked a few questions, skipped a detailed autopsy, and closed the case in days. No thorough crime scene search. No further questioning of Alyssa Boyer, arrested for prostitution a month later and convicted of murder in 1979. Franklin, a former madam who later sued Sam's estate for $200,000 and lost, wasn't deeply investigated. Why a rumor spread the hacienda was a front for a brothel, where Boyer and Franklin might have worked together to rob Sam, with police complicity to cover it up. In a high-crime area, no one heard gunshots, no one stepped out, no witnesses, too quiet unnaturally so. An online user mentioned a gasoline smell in Sam's organs, hinting at foul play, though it could be from embalming. The white music industry, with its overwhelming power, stayed suspiciously silent. No major label or white artist called for a reinvestigation. Sam, with SR Records and his civil rights stance, threatened the status quo. Did Klein and the police extinguish the brightest light before it could spread across America? Chapter 6. Scandal after death, a family torn apart. Just 77 days after the funeral, the widow took the arm of her husband's young protege. Bobby Womack wore Sam Cooke's suit, driving the red Ferrari to the cemetery, not to mourn but to start anew. Barbara Campbell, 29, married Bobby. 20, Sam's protege, shocking family and fans. Sam's father, Reverend Charles Cooke Sr., was furious, worried for Sam's daughters, Linda and Tracy. Barbara said she sought happiness, and they named their son Vincent, honoring Sam's lost child. But that happiness was an illusion. In 1970, Barbara walked into the house and froze. Bobby, who called Sam brother, was involved with Linda, Sam's 17-year-old daughter. The air turned icy. Linda stared at her mother, eyes sharp as knives. "I can't call someone who slept with me my stepfather," she said, then left, cutting contact forever. Barbara, in a rage, fired a gun past Bobby's head, kicked him out, and divorced him soon after. Tracy, the youngest daughter, renamed Sandra to escape public eyes, grew up in her mother's lonely shadow. The white music industry, instead of seeking justice for Sam's death, feasted on the family drama. No major label called for a reinvestigation. Barbara, judged by the public, lived in silence. A friend said she once whispered, "I just want to forget Sam's past." Or was there something she wanted to hide, something only Barbara and that December 10th night knew? The scandal overshadowed Sam's tragedy, turning a legend into gossip. Was this family drama a consequence, or a tool to cover up a staged crime? Conclusion: an unsolved mystery. Who hid the truth? Sam died, but the questions about his death live on and grow with time. A change is going to come. Written after his son Vincent's death, became an immortal anthem, ranked #1 on Rolling Stone's protest song list in 2025. Sam's voice echoes through Aretha Franklin, Stevie Wonder, Marvin Gaye, Otis Redding, and James Brown. Linda, despite the scandal with Bobby Womack, found success with Womack and Womack, hitting big with Teardrops in 1988. Sam's granddaughters, the Womack sisters, carry his legacy with a cover of A Change Is Gonna Come, bringing his soul to a new generation. Tracy, living quietly as Sandra, left her life a mystery. Sam was honored in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 1986, the Songwriters Hall of Fame in 1987, and with Sam Cooke Way in Chicago in 2011. With SR Records and CAG's music, he paved the way for Black artists to control their work, inspiring figures like Kendrick Lamar. But his legacy is shadowed by an unanswered mystery: a battered body, conflicting stories, a profiteer, a silent industry, a voice silenced. Etta James saw Sam's body and couldn't trust the official report: crushed hands, a nearly severed head. His sister Agnes swore Sam would never stay at a cheap motel. Alan Klein, controlling Tracy Limited, solidified his power after Sam's death. The Los Angeles police, accused of racism, closed the case in days, with no thorough autopsy or follow-up on Boyer or Franklin. The white music industry, with its vast power, never demanded justice. A mysterious letter, a gasoline smell in Sam's organs, his whispers of someone watching, all buried. Sam's story teaches us about resilience against prejudice, the power of independence, and the cost of fame. He craved love from fans and family but was trapped in a world of envy. Do you think Sam Cooke died because of his fame, or because he dared to be independent in a world that wanted control in that church corner long ago? A man still watches quietly. Maybe he never left. We can forget the conspiracy, but we can't forget that something was hidden.